All right, Math 1020 class, let's do our test 4 review. First problem, use the definition of a log function to rewrite the log equation as an exponential equation. And here is the log equation that we're given. So remember, the trick on these is to convert to exponential form by starting with the base and going in a little circle. 6 raised to the k power is equal to j. And that's all you have to do. Change the exponential equation into an equivalent logarithmic equation is the next problem. So we're just going in the other direction, but you still do the same thing. Start with the base of the exponential expression, make it the base of the log, and go in a little circle. Log of 125 to base 5 is equal to 3. Find the value of the logarithms without using a calculator. Log 64 to base 4. All right. Well, remember, the trick is try to figure out what power you have to raise the small number to get the big number. And in this case, 4 to the third power is equal to 64. What do I have to raise 7 to get 49? The answer is 2. Two to what power is 32? The answer is 5. You can use a calculator to check. 3 to what power is 27? The answer is 3. 4 to what power is 64? The answer is 3. In May of 2008, an earthquake measuring 6.4 on the Richter scale struck near the east coast of a city. So in 2008, the measurement on the Richter scale was 6.4. In March of 2011, an earthquake measuring 8.7 struck in that same region. The 2011 earthquake was how many times more intense as the one in 2008? That's the question. Well, the trick on this one is to convert both of these Richter scale measurements into intensities first. And we have to use this formula for the intensity of an earthquake, or the Richter scale measurement of an earthquake. So for the first one, R is equal to 6.4. And I just need to solve this thing for I. So remember, that's a common logarithm. The base is understood to be 10. So 10 raised to the 6.4 is equal to I divided by I0. So notice I changed that log equation into an exponential equation. And now just multiply both sides by I0 to get I by itself. So the intensity of the first earthquake is that. Now let's find the intensity of the second one. It measured 8.7 on the Richter scale. So let's convert this to exponential form. 10 raised to the 8.7 is equal to I over I0. So once again, multiply both sides by I0. That gives you the intensity of the second one. Now you really just have to take the ratio of these two things to get your answer. And notice that the I0s cancel out, so I can just plug that into a calculator. And I get 199.5. So the bigger earthquake was 199.5 times as intense as the smaller earthquake. To simplify the measurement of the acidity or basicity of a solution, the pH measure was developed. The pH is given by this formula, where H plus is the concentration of hydrogen ions in moles per liter in the solution. Find the pH when the hydrogen ion concentration is the following number. Well, you really just have to plug that number in for H0. It's just a calculator exercise. But I get 4.1. Solve the equations analytically and check graphically. All right. So on these, what you want to do first is make sure that there isn't a number in front of the exponential expression. If there is, divide both sides by that number. In this case, there is not. So after that, you want to take the log of both sides and choose common log or natural log. Either one is okay. I'm going to choose natural log. And remember, the next key step after that is to use the power rule to bring the exponent out in front of the logarithm. And now get x by itself by dividing both sides by the coefficient of x, which is natural log 10. So be careful when you plug in the left-hand side into a calculator. Make sure you close the parentheses around the numbers. And that's what I get. Let's solve another exponential equation. Well, notice in this case you actually have a number in front of the exponential part. So we need to divide both sides by that number, which is 2, first, before we take the log of both sides. Now, once you do that, you can go ahead and take the log of both sides. And then remember, the next step is to use the power rule to bring the power out in front. And then divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is 3 natural log e. But you know, natural log e is actually 1, so it's really just natural log 671 over 3. Which simplifies to 2.170 on the calculator. Now, number 8 is very similar to the one I just did, so I'm going to skip number 8. Let's try number 9. That's different. This is our first log equation of the video. So anytime your equation is of the form log equals constant, change to exponential form. So start with the base, go in a circle, 4 raised to the first power is equal to x. So 4 is your answer. Number 10. All right. Now on this one, I only want you to use a calculator, so don't try to do this algebraically. Here's what you want to do. Enter the two functions 6 times 8 to the x and 3072 into your calculator as two different functions. And when you do that, you're going to get a picture that looks like this. Go ahead and put them on the same screen. So the 6 times 8 to the x is the exponentially increasing function, The 3072 is the horizontal line. It's the constant function. So let's go back to the inequality. You want to look to see where the exponential function is on top of the constant function. So let's go back to the picture. It looks like the exponential function is on the top over here. So what you've got to do is find this point of intersection, whatever it is, at least the x value of it. And for all the x's bigger than or equal to that number, that's when the exponential function is on the top. So go ahead and enter that into a calculator, find the point of intersection. By the way, you might want to choose your y max to be maybe 7,000. But I think you can use all the other standard numbers for the other x min, x max, y max. Well, let's find the point of intersection. I get 3, 3072. But the only thing you really care about is the x value. So the answer is x bigger than or equal to 3. So those are all the x values where the exponential function is on top. And I believe on the computer you only have to enter the 3. It already gives you the x bigger than or equal to. All right. And I think I'll stop there and make another video for the second half of the review.